everybody, it's Josie here. I am going to be doing a book review today. So I'm going to be reviewing, can't even say the word today. I'm going to be reviewing one of the new releases for this month. And a book that I just read as part of my Contemporary-thon readathon. So the book I'm reviewing is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This book is the second book, so kind of the follow-up book to Angie Thomas's The Hate You Give. The two are not connected in the sense that it is not, this is not a sequel. This is a completely independent story, different characters. It's set in the same kind of area. And it does make very brief reference to the riots that happened. So it kind of makes, very briefly, it makes a reference to what happened in The Hate You Give, but you by no means have to have read The Hate You Give to enjoy On the Come Up, I think. And also, I think what's happening with a lot of reviews that I've read up until this point is that people they're very much comparing the two books. Now, I personally don't think that's necessarily fair because, like I said, this isn't a sequel. It is a standalone book. And if you're constantly comparing a book to another one, I don't know if that's particularly fair to the author. I also think The Hate You Give was so incredibly powerful, was so poignant, and was so really captured the zeitgeist of the moment and the Black Lives Matter movement. And it is going to be incredibly hard to follow up something that had such impact when it first came out. Having said all of that, I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed this book as its own entity of a book. I thought it was fantastic. Before I get into the inside of the book, let's look at the outside of the book. So this is the Waterstones exclusive cover, I believe, yep. And I really like that. Look at that. I think it's beautiful. I love the photography on the front, the way the lettering comes over purple, and then it has these gorgeous lilac sprayed edges. And The Hate You Give, I actually have also the Waterstones exclusive for that one, and that one was yellow, so the edges are sprayed yellow, so they look really pretty together. But anyway, that's the last time I'm going to mention that book. So this one on its own, the storyline here is that we've got Bree. She is a 17, I believe, year old teenager, and she really loves hip hop, and her kind of secret ambition has always been to be a hip hop rap star. She is also the daughter of her father was a rapper and a kind of a real star, a rising star in the community, but he was killed when she was young. And part of this book talks about her and her mother and her brother's struggles, what happened to her mother after her father was killed, the struggles they've had growing up. And I think what Angie does so well is she talks about the reality of life, how hard it is, how they struggle. She also very much talks about, again, about the innate racism that is still happening in present day today, and this is set in America, but I don't think it's exclusive to America, and the way that Bree is treated at school. So she goes to what was previously a kind of a more white upper class school that is now taken in loads of kids from the surrounding neighborhoods. And I think they say in the book, they took in these kids for quotas almost, but they get treated quite poorly still. And one of the central themes that I love about this book as well is perception. So what is reality and what is perception, and how do people perceive you? And you have that choice of, do you live up to the perception? So do you play into what people expect of you, or do you try to rise above it and prove them wrong? And Bree really kind of struggles with that throughout this narrative, and I think that's really interesting. And when we're talking about perception, we're talking about perception of colour and race and socioeconomic status. There's also a great feminist slant to this book in the sense that Bree is obviously a girl, and even though there are a plethora of really amazing female hip-hop and rap artists out there, Missy Elliott, Lil' Kim, Eve, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, you know, there's loads. Female rap artists are still kind of viewed a bit negatively, or not taken as particularly seriously. So she's fighting against that as well. She's fighting against the perception of who she is and where she comes from. So all of those themes I thought were incredibly poignant, incredibly strong, and incredibly interesting to read about. I also love that kind of insight into the music industry and hip hop industry. I love the TV program Empire, and this kind of was a little bit like that in that sense. I actually love any books that are set around music and the music industry, so that was a big plus for me. I love that. I love the fact that Bree's a complex character, and she isn't immediately kind of really sweet and really likable. She makes some poor decisions, she speaks without thinking, she will frustrate you, I think, in parts in this book, but that's what makes her interesting to me, and that's actually why I like her, because she is a complex character. I love the rhymes that Angie Thomas has written. So On the Come Up is the song that Bree records, and the rhymes and the verses of that song are in the book, and I love it, and I really want someone to record it, because I think it'd be really cool recorded. So I'd love like a female rap artist to actually record that. I think it would be brilliant. And I just think it is a wonderful story. It's wonderful. Again, it's poignant. It will pull at your heartstrings. It will make you think, and I think it really makes you think about perception, appearances. Don't judge a book by its cover. Those innate kind of things that we believe to be true that aren't necessarily, the way we jump to conclusions and judgments very easily. All of those things will really make you think about it. And for me, a book that will make you think, that will make you feel is going to be brilliant. So I love this. 4.5 stars. I would absolutely recommend it. Again, like I said, I know everybody goes on about the hate you give in comparing this, but on its own as a book, I think it's wonderful. And I absolutely 100% recommend everybody reading this, because yeah, it's another important, beautiful, interesting book. And I think Angie Thomas has done a wonderful job on this. So yeah, highly recommend. Go out and read it and enjoy it. And if you have, let me know what you think. I'd love to know. Yeah, love to hear your thoughts. So I will speak to you again soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.